Hi students, today we want to start the concept of your first unit, chapter 1, electrostatic. Electrostatic charges. So before going to the concept of electrostatic charges, see we want to give a small introduction. Like if you consider your first, second, third chapters, in that we have to study about charges. That we have to study about charges. And charges we will study in two patterns. One, it was in rest, other, it was in motion. So whatever the charges we have, so we will explain briefly a detailed concept, but we want to give us some introduction. A charge we will study in rest and we will study in motion. So if you study in rest, the charge, if you study in rest, we call this as a static. And the charge, if you study in motion, then it's called as a dynamic. So we want to study charge in static mode and charge in dynamic mode. So these are the two patterns. If you consider the charge in rest, that's in static, in that we will cover the concept like electrostatic, potential, and capacitance. So these are the chapters, these are the topics. So this will be the unit 1 and these two will be a unit 2. So whenever we want to study a charge in rest, so there we will study three concepts like electrostatic, electrostatic potential, electrostatic capacitance. Similarly, if you consider charges, so charge, if you consider in motion, then we call as a dynamic. Here we will cover the concepts like current, electricity, magnetism, moving charges of magnetism, magnetic induction, and last AC fundamentals. So these are the chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These seven chapters will come under NCERT part 1. Okay, so we have to study what is a charge, types of charges. So we have a rest. So these are the topics we related to the charge. Okay, now we will start the concept of electrostatic charges with clear definitions. So first we will define the first chapter, electrostatic charge. Already we defined static is nothing but the charge we will study in rest. So first of all, what is a charge? What is a charge? So whenever we want to define the definition of charge, A charge is nothing but the fundamental property of matter, or we call or we call intrinsic properties of matter. Here we will study intrinsic is nothing but we will study charge inside. So how it will be works. So charge is a fundamental property of matter. Suppose if you consider a matter, how the matter will be made up of. So already we know a matter is consisting of three states like solids, liquids and gaseous. Whatever it may be the format, so we will discuss on the basis like atom. Atom is the smallest particle which is made up of with neutrons, protons and electrons, and this will be the smallest particle. This will be the smallest particle. A group of atoms will make a molecule, and group of molecules will make a matter. Okay, now we will study about the intrinsic properties of matter. So we have to deal inside properties of matter. So we will define first atom. So what is an atom? Atom is a smallest particle. Atom is the smallest particle which we cannot observe through naked eyes, because the size of atom is 10 to the power of minus 10 meters. It's the smallest particle. And if you consider atom, so if you consider this is atom, in atom the central part we call this as a nucleus. There we have neutrons and protons. So neutrons mean which we call neutral charge. We don't have any charge. And P is called positive charge. That's we call it as a proton. And whatever the electrons we have, it will be revolves around the nucleus with constant orbit. So where we have electrons, this will be a negative charge. This will be an electron which was revolving around the nucleus. And whenever we want to define its mass and what is the charge means, if you consider neutral, mass of neutron, so we will define its mass and what about it? Charge. So if you consider a neutron, the mass of the neutron will be 1.67 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams, or we can represent 1.67 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kg, and charge will be a neutral, that will be a zero charge. Similarly, if you consider a proton, the proton, mass of proton will be equals to the mass of neutron. It's also 1.67 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams, or in terms of kgs means 1.67 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kg. And charge will be a 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. It's always positive. So whenever we consider the electron, mass of electron will be 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus 28 grams. If you consider in terms of kgs, so this will be 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kg. And the charge of electron will be minus 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. And these values, just remember, this will be useful for your calculations, so further calculations. So now we define charges. It's a fundamental property of charges. Here charges are classified into, so charges are classified into two types. So one, positive charge, and second one, negative charge. So they are classified into two types, positive charge and negative charge. Now what is a positive charge and what is a negative charge? To define these terms, let us consider a small example. So here I am considering a small example. We consider two atoms. Both are of identical size and shape. So both are identical size and shape. Okay, suppose consider this will be the name A, this will be the name B. If you consider A charge, if you consider A atom, there suppose we have some 10 electrons. So this is a general example. Okay, if you consider B, suppose there we have some 4 electrons. So we consider the two charges, that's the two atoms. There we have 10 electrons, in B we have 4 electrons. Okay, now before process, if you add the total, before process the total value is equals to 14 electrons. 10 plus 4, 14 electrons. This will be a before process. Okay, now we are applying some suppose we are applying some frictional force. So already we know about frictional force. So frictional force means here we are taking atom 1, here we have taken atom 2. So this is A, this is B. Here we have 10 electrons, here we have 4 electrons. Whenever we are placed at certain distance, there is no transformation of electrons. Now we are taking these two electrons, we are placing each other, and we are applying some frictional force. Whenever we are applying some frictional force, automatically it generates some heat. It means there is a transformation of electrons. Okay, due to a heat, due to a frictional force, there is a transformation of electrons. The electrons always starts from higher value to lower value. Already we know about a heat. heat transfers from higher orbit to lower orbit. That's a hotter body to cooler body. In the same way, from higher value to lower value, there is a transformation of electrons. Suppose in that two electrons were transferred. Suppose we consider an example. There is a transformation of two electrons. Clear? So whenever there is a two transformation of electrons means initially we have a 10 electrons here. In that they transfers 2 electrons. It means they have a transfer. It means we reduce 2 electrons. Now what will be the net? The value will be 8 electrons. In B, so this is A. If you consider in B, it was gaining, it was giving, it was taking. So it means here we have already 4 electrons. Now we are getting 2 more electrons. We are adding 2 electrons. The net value will become a 6 electrons. Now what will be the net charge? 8 plus 6. Again we will get 14 electrons. So before process we have a total 14 electrons. But A has a 10 electrons, B has a 4 electrons. Whenever we are applying some frictional force, there is a transformation of electrons. So we consider 2 electrons are transferred from 10 to 4. So 10 in the 2 electrons are transferred to 4. So there is a minus 2 where 4 is added with 2 electrons. So 8 plus 6 will be the net. So total we get 14 electrons. Here one point is clear. So before whatever the process, how many electrons we have, and after process also we get the same amount. So which supports law of conservation of charge. So what is the law of conservation of charge? Already we studied about the law of conservation of energy. So before whatever the energy we have, after process also we get the same amount of energy. Simply the energy, that's a charge, here we define the charge. The charge neither destroy nor create, but it will transfers from one body to another body. This is one of the property of charge, and we will discuss again these terms in conservation of charge. That's the properties of charge. Okay, now we want to define what is a positive charge and what is the negative charge. Okay, if you consider in this example, after process we reduce 2 electrons. It means whenever there is a deficiency of electrons or loses some electron, then we call this as positive charge. Similarly, whenever there is a here deficiency, here we are gaining. Whenever there is a gain of electrons or excess amount of charge, then we call this as negative charge. So here we have two definitions. Initially we define a charge
It's a fundamental property of charge or eccentric properties of charge. Eccentric is nothing but inside properties we have to study. Classification, if you consider, there are two types of charges, positive charge and negative charge. So define a positive charge and negative charge, we consider a general example. Initially we consider atom A and atom B, where atom A has a 10 electrons and atom B has a 4 electrons. Before process, net value is 10 plus 4, 16 electrons. And we have one more condition, whatever the atoms we considered, A and B, they should be identical size and shape. Now, before process we have a 14 electrons. Now we are applying some frictional force. That's we call as a rubbing force also. In some books we have a rubbing force. Whenever we are applying some rubbing or frictional force, there is a transformation of electrons. In that example, we consider 2 electrons are transformed from 10 to 4. So it means 10, they are losing some electrons. 2 electrons were losing. And 4, 2 electrons are gaining. So in the second point, we have a 10 minus 2 and 4 plus 2. 10 minus 2, we have a 8 electrons. 4 plus 2, we have a 6 electrons. Again, if you add 8 plus 6, we have a 14 electrons. From this, we have a one point is clear. That's a one of the property of charge is called law of conservation of charge. The charge neither destroyed nor create, but it will be transferred from one body to another body. Clear? So initially we have a 14. So we are not destroyed or we are not created, but we simply transferred. Again we will get the net value as a 14 electrons. So based upon this we define the positive charge and negative charge. So now we are coming to the positive charge, means whenever there is a deficiency of electrons or loses some electrons, then we will call this as positive charge. Similarly, whenever there is an excess amount or gain of electrons, then we will call this as a negative charge. Is that clear? And here point to be noted. Here point to be noted. Whenever we are defining a charge as either positive or negative, it indicates only gain or loss. It indicates only gain or loss. I will clear this concept further, but here whenever we define a charge as a positive means there is a deficiency. It means we are losing some electrons. So it indicates a sign, but sign indicates either it was gaining or losing. So here already we defined the charge, types of charges, and we given a note. It's either a positive or negative. It indicates only the gain or loss. If you define its units, it's denoted with Q, capital Q, and units of charge will be coulombs. It's denoted with C. So we define the charge. Charge is a eccentric property of matter. It's denoted with Q and units will be coulombs. Coulomb, which denotes with C. Here, whenever we define, suppose we have a Q is equals to minus 3.2 into 10 to the power of minus 16 coulombs. Suppose here we define Q is equals to minus 3.2 into 10 to the power of minus 16 coulombs. It indicates here we have a negative sign. So whenever we have a negative sign, simply there is a gain of electrons. Gain of electrons. Similarly, the same Q, if you represent it with plus 3.2 into 10 to the power of minus 16 coulombs, then it indicates that's a plus. Plus means we call this as a loss of electrons. Is that clear? The plus and minus are only a signs which represents either gain of electrons or lose of electrons. Now here we have a question. So whenever we represented either Q in terms of negative, Q in terms of positive, we stated that there is some gain of electrons and there is some loss of electrons. Here my question. So automatically all we got some question like whenever we consider Q minus or Q plus, there is a gain of electrons, there is a loss of electrons. Now what will be the question errors? How many? How many electrons? How many electrons? For negative charge, how many electrons we gain? For a positive charge, how many electrons we lost? We got this question. So till now, whatever we represented, you got the concept. So here we have a general questions. Already we represented positive charge and negative charge. And remember clearly, positive, negative, not as signs. They are the representations of a gain or loss. And the question, if you represented minus, there we have a loss or gain. So depending upon sign. So simply we will get the question, how many electrons, if it is a minus, how many electrons we lost or how many electrons we gain. So for this we have to study about the properties. So till now you're all clear. So we will study the properties. So if you consider properties of charges, or we call instead of properties, represent this as a laws of charges. So we have some rules for these charges. So what are the laws? Means the first one, law of conservation of charge, and second one, law of quantization of charge, and third one, law of additivity of charge. So these are the three properties or three laws we will define. So already the first law was defined. So in the previous example we defined law of conservation of energy. I hope this was clear. So law of conservation of energy is nothing but whatever the atoms we considered, initially we have some strength. After process also we get the same strength at the end. That whatever it may be the process, so the charge won't affect, it simply transfers. So that's a law of conservation of charge defines it's neither created nor destroyed. Simply it's transfers from one body to another body. Now we will define the second one. So law of conservation of energy. So if you create this definition, so in the previous concept only we defined how many electrons, we arrive at question, there is a loss or there is a gain. It will be clear by using the concept of law of conservation of energy. So what do you mean by law of conservation of energy? sorry, the second one, law of quantization of charge. So what do you mean by quantization of charge? So quantization of charge, it is an integral multiple of electron. So quantization of charge is nothing but it's an integral multiple of electron. So it denotes with Q. Q is equals to, so we define integral multiple of electron. So integral multiple of electron means we will represent with n into electron. That's Q is equals to Ne. That's a quantization of charge. Already we know about the charge of electron is 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. And whenever we define n, it is an integer. It is an integer. So integer means, and that too we will consider this as a whole number. So whole number means round off. So we will get minus infinity to 0 and 0 to plus infinity. We will define n. Either it will be a negative value, it will be a positive value. We will get the infinite terms, but it's always whole number like 1, 2, 1000, 2050. Like we have a some constant. So whenever we have a 1.25 or 37.25, so this type of charge won't exist. Is this clear? So always it's an integral multiple. So we don't get the fractional values. So we will clear this with a one example. So example for quantization of charge. And this is the same example for how many electrons we will have if you have a positive charge, if you have a negative charge. For example, consider example 1. Example 1. So we have a 6.4 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs with a negative sign. 6.4 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs as a charge. So we have to find a number of electrons. We have to find number of electrons. How many electrons are there in this charge? So here we have a quantization of charge which represents Q is equals to Ne. Okay. Here already we have a negative sign. So negative sign means which indicates it's a gain of electrons. It means we added some electrons or we have a some excess amount of electrons. So it's a indication of sign. So now how many we gained? How many we added? So we get the question. In the question again we have a small question. So we will substitute the values. 6.4 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. This is a charge of a given value of Q where we have a negative sign, that's we call as a gain of electrons, is equals to N into charge of electron. So already we know the value of E. So E is equals to 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. So here we have a 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. Now what will be the value of N? N is equals to, so 10 to the power of 19 minus 19 and 10 to the power of minus 19 will be cancelled. and coulomb will be cancelled. We get the value of N is equals to 6.4 divided by 1.6. 6.4, 1.6 means we get the value 4 electrons. That's a 4. We get the value as a 4, where N is integer. So where N is an integer means we can define minus 6.4 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs of charge will exist. So negative means there we have a gain. So how many we gain? We gain 4. Is that clear? So we gain 4 electrons. Suppose the same question if you represented with positive sign. If you represented with positive sign. So positive sign means instead of negative it will be a positive and gain will become a loss. Loss means we have a deficiency. Deficiency means, so we here represented as a gain. So there we will represent it as a loss. So we lost 4 electrons. The same question we represented with 2 patterns, positive charge and negative charge. I hope it was clear. And consider second example. Example 2. Here also we consider some charge Q. Q is equals to 4 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs with some negative sign. Consider this is a positive sign. Now we have to find a number of electrons. How many number of electrons, how many we have added or subtracted. So according to a question we have a positive. So positive means it's a loss of electrons. So loss of electron means we have to find the value how many we lost, just we removed. So how many we removed. Okay, we have a formula for quantization. Q is equals to Ne. Already we know the value of E is equals to 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. If you substitute the values, 4 into 10 to the power of minus 19 is equals to N into 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. So 10 to the power of minus 19, 10 to the power of minus 19 will be cancelled. We get N is equal, here we have a coulomb we cancel. So we get N is equals to 4 divided by 1.6. And if you multiply it with 10, so 10 and divided with 10, so we get 40 divided by 60. 40 divided by 16 means we get value 2 point, some 4 or 5. So 2.4. So where N is equal to 2.4 means where N is not an integer. So when N is not an integer means 4 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs of charge is not exist. So whatever the number we get at the end, it should be a positive or negative integer. Suppose we have a positive means there we have a loss, but 2.4 it won't exist. Is that clear? So we cleared law of conservation of charge, and next quantization of charge. Here we will go for third property, that's we called as a law of additivity of charge. Simple, in the word we have add. In the word we have add. Add means we will add all the charges. For example, we consider one atom. Here we have some different electrons. Here we have some electrons. Suppose consider here we have some positive 4, negative 4, plus 3, minus 7, plus 10, minus 4, plus 3. So we have different charges. So different charges, additivity of charge means whatever the charge we have, the charge will be addition of Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 plus so on up to Qn. The adding of all charges we get the net charge. So for this example, what will be the net charge? Plus 3, minus 4, plus 4, plus 3, minus 7, plus 10 and minus 4. So plus minus will be cancelled. Next we have a 3 plus 3 plus 10, 16, minus 7 minus 4 we have a minus 11. So Q value is equals to 5 electrons we have. That's a 5 coulombs of charge. So 5 coulombs of charge. If you consider the same example with the strengths also. So we have a 3 microcoulombs of charge, 4 microcoulombs of charge, 4 microcoulombs, 4 microcoulombs, 7 microcoulombs, 10 microcoulombs and 4 microcoulombs. So for every term we have a, whatever the term we have a plus 3, minus 4, plus 4, plus 3, minus 7, plus 10, minus 4, all we have a common term of microcoulomb. So what is the micro value? So micro is nothing but 10 to the power of minus 6. So we get the value of Q is equals, already we calculated 5. Micro means 10 to the power of minus 6 coulombs with a positive sign. So this will be the additivity of charge. So till now we defined the charge, types of charges, next properties of charges, and we consider different examples. Next, whenever we consider a charge, charge has 3 properties. Now we will study about properties of charges. So what are the properties of charges means? First one, frictional force. Second one, conduction. Third one, induction. So these are the properties as a frictional charge, conduction and induction. So already we defined the first one. Frictional force means in the first example we considered two charges, that's a two atoms A and B, where A and B are identical size in shape. So in A we have a strength of electron, and B we have a strength of electron. Before the process, if you add, we have some amount of net. After processing, from higher atom to a lower, there is a transformation of electrons with some amount. So due to that, there we have some loss and there we have some gain. Again, if you add the net value, we get the same. That's a frictional force. So due to simply we call this as a rubbing process. So already I explained this concept, that's why I'm not touching here. Now we will consider the conduction. So, and we have one more note. Whenever we consider the frictional force or a conduction, these will be based on contact. These will be based on contact. Suppose if you consider the frictional force, here we have an atom A, here we have an atom B. So whenever we consider atom A and atom B remains in same position, means there is no transformation of electrons. But whenever we are getting together, we are making a contact where we are applying some frictional force. Then only we will get a concept of rubbing. And if you consider the conduction, for the conduction also, we will consider the same consideration. That's a identical size and shape. So here we will define the process of conduction. So to define the process of conduction, here we need a first contact. It's a type of contact force. Now we consider atom A, atom B, and first consideration, it should be an identical size and shape. So we consider A and B are identical size and shape. Okay, suppose consider here we have some, one second. So here we considered A and B. Suppose we have A with a strength of 20 electrons and B is a neutral, 0 electrons. Here we don't have any electrons. Whenever we place A and B side by side, there is no transformation of electrons because there is no contact. To define the conduction, we need a contact. So whenever we have a contact between A and B, so through a wire, so we connected through a wire. So whenever we connected through a wire, whatever the strength, here we have A as a more when compared to B. So from A, there is a transformation of electrons from A to B. So whatever the electrons here we have, it will be transferred from A to B through a wire. Through a wire. Now, whenever there is a transformation, but in rubbing principles, we have a limited. So whenever we have a frictional force, it will goes either 1, 2, 3. But here, to define at the end how many electrons will be there in A and B and how many were transferred from A to B means, so we have a formula A plus B by 2. So we get A, we have a 20 electrons plus B, we have a 0 electrons divided by 2. So we get 10 electrons. So before process, we have 20 plus 0, we have a 20 electrons. After conduction, after transformation through a wire, so we have a 10 electrons. So 10 electron means the A will have 10 electrons and B is also having 10 electrons. Again, what will be the net value? 10 plus 10, we get 20 electrons. Here also satisfies the law of conservation of charge. So here we have a formula. Now just remember, whenever, and this will be applicable only when they are in identical size and shape. If A has a more size when compared to B, then it won't be applicable. So in conduction, whenever we have a two atoms, they will have a two different strengths of charges. Two different strengths of charges. Whenever we are making contact with Y, there is a transformation of electrons from A to B. And A to B means we have a formula A plus B by 2. So we get the net value. So it was clear. In conduction, whenever we are making a contact, whatever the charge we have, in the conduction, whatever the charge we have, it will be splits equal amount to A and B. And third one, induction. So to define the induction, it's a non-contact force. It's a non-contact force. Initially, we consider a conductor which was placed on a stand. In that, all negative positive charges are randomly arranged. All negative positive charges are randomly arranged. It's a step 1. So step 1. So we consider in step 1 we consider a rod which has a positive strength. It has only a positive strength. If you place this positive strength near the conductor, near the one metal, initially we stated all positive and negative charges are randomly arranged. All are randomly arranged. We don't have a particular direction. But whenever we are placing a positive, so already we know positive, negative will attract, positive will repel. Similarly, negative is also repel. So based upon this concept, here we have a both positive and negative charges. In step 1, we placed a one iron rod which has a positive strength. So here we have a both positive and negative. According to our concept, positive, negative will be attract. So how many negative charges we have, it will be attracted. So it will becomes to the one end of the surface because they are in attraction mode. Positive, negative will be attract. But remaining in this we have a positive. Here we have a randomly both positive and negative. Negative will be attracts towards the positive, and what about the positive charge? Positive will be repelled. So it will be moves other end of the metal. Now we have a positive and negative separation. Suppose if you remove this positive terminal, again they will be combined all positive negative in a random motion. Okay, step 2. In step 2, we are placing the same rod we considered as a positive, and whatever the metal we consider the stand. In this we have a negative charges on one side because of attraction, and positive charges we have in other side because of repulsion. But the other end of the metal we consider a ground terminal. So ground terminal. Here we have an attraction, here we have a repulsion. It means we have some excess amount. These excess amount of electrons, whenever we are placing a ground, a feeding wire, then step 3, positive rod remains in same position. Whatever the metal, all the negative terms will be on other end, and whatever the positive terms, it will be passes through the excess amount of positive terminals will passes through the ground. So ground is nothing but 0. Ground is nothing but 0. So finally we have metal with negative sign with all positive charges. Suppose if you remove this positive charge, at the end we have only negative charges which will be distributed in all the direction. This is a concept of induction. Electrons. Or if you want to define clearly, so consider we have a one block. In that we have some 100 electrons and 100 protons. That's a positive charge and negative charge. Positive charge always remains at the center, and whatever the electrons, it will be revolved around the nucleus. Suppose in that we removed some 20 electrons. It has some mass of x. It has some mass of x. Consider the mass is a 200. So we consider example mass will be 200 grams or kg, whatever it may be. Consider mass as a 200. Whenever we remove some electrons, 20 electrons, then what about its mass? Mass will be reduces to 180 electrons. That's mass will be reduced. If you remove, mass will be reduced. The same if you consider second one. Here we have 100 electrons. Here we have 100 protons. Suppose from outside, if you add 20 electrons, already we represented 10 plus 100 plus 100, 200, so its mass. Whenever we added some 20, then value will be 220 electrons. Mass will be increases, here mass will be decreases. And last, we consider an atom with 100 electrons and 100 protons. We are neither added or we removed. It remains in same. The mass remains as same as a 200. So there is no change in the mass. So according to this example, if you consider a positive, so positive means removed. This is a positive charge, and this will be a negative charge, and this will be a neutral charge. So neutral charge, and it's a relation. So whenever we removed means the mass will be reduces. Whenever we added means mass will be increases. Whenever we are not added or we are not removed, then mass will be remains same. So today's class we defined the charge, types of charges, and example for like a method of charging like rubbing, conduction, induction, and properties. Properties or laws. That's we call law of conservation of charge, quantization of charge, and additivity of charge. So these are the basic terms, and at the end we are make a relation with mass. What will be the relation of mass and charge? So when will be it increases, when it will be decreases. So I hope the concept is clear. In the next class we will discuss about Coulomb's law, vector form of Coulomb's law, and magnetic field lines, and some other topics of electrostatic force. Thank you.